time to have a little chat about East versus West, about China versus us, because I'm hearing several things from people, even experts on the economy, experts on the coronavirus, and they want to talk about everything as it is now, everything as it is static. But you need to understand this. So far, and for the foreseeable future, this entire thing has been a humongous win for China. And if China had their way, at this point in time, they would have a new coronavirus pandemic just like the one we've had every 6 months. Now, I know what you're saying, Jesse, you're crazy. Hear me out. Understand this. The coronavirus has killed a bunch of Chinese people. One, China has a ton of them anyway. And two, they don't value human life the way we do because we have a Judeo-Christian society. They don't give a crap. They're chucking moving body bags into furnaces over there. They don't care about their people. That's one. Two, you're going to say China's economy's hurting is bad or worse than ours is. Yes. But China doesn't look at war the way you and I look at war. When I say war to you, what do you think? What do you think? What images pop into your head when you think about war? A D-Day, the invasion of Normandy, Gettysburg. You picture battles, bayonets, cannons, machine guns. That's not how the East views war. China and places like Afghanistan, they view war as generational things, as slow, plodding, long-term thinking things. That's how they view war. China doesn't give a crap that they're racing to the bottom as long as we're also racing to the bottom. Why don't they care? Well, there's no election in China in November. There's no election in China 4 years after that. There's no election in China 4 years after that. You're allowed, part of the benefits of a disgusting system like they have is there isn't regime change, barring some huge rebellion. And so what do they get? What if China and I both crater, as we are now? China has ruined their economy, although they're opening back up. America has, on purpose, ruined its own economy. And now we're both going down. And let's say we both hit bottom. We won't, but let's say we both do. Boom, crash and burn. China rises again. And the rest of Europe, all these parts of Europe, they're going to start buying goods from China. They will. If the United States craters and goes into a Great Depression, China rises because China is the only other global superpower with the infrastructure to do so. And so you might be saying to yourself, Jesse, you're crazy. I've heard all these other countries, they're super mad at China. You know, and they all are, right? They all have these firm statements out about, we're not dealing with China anymore. We're moving out of China. No more China this, no more China that. How long do you think that lasts if that's the only place where you can buy the goods your society wants and needs? About 5 minutes. All that anger you see directed at China right now, they don't give a crap. They're just going to wait it all out and sit and cross their fingers the United States of America is stupid enough to do exactly what we've done, which is kill our own economy. And just as a brief side note before I come back to that, we love to honor the troops and should honor the troops. People out there putting their lives on the line. And so when we think about things like World War I, World War II, what do we think of? Again, the troops. Heading towards the beaches with that rifle in his hands. And we don't win the war without them. They're important. Both those wars were won on the backs of the United States economy. When that famous Japanese admiral came out and said, you can't win a war, a prolonged war with America, at least not a naval one, you know the reason he said why? He didn't say our brave men on the ground, although, we certainly have brave men on the ground. He said you can't win a naval battle with the United States of America because of the oil fields in Texas and the auto factories in Michigan. You see, it is our economy that won not one, but 2 world wars. So China starts a virus. China exports the virus here. And what was the United States' response to that virus? To kill the one thing that gave us superiority over them and, frankly, gave us the free world we have today. China's loving this. China doesn't care about a minor short-term economic downturn. They want the United States of America destroyed because China sees things for the long term. Always have, always will. We had better adjust our thinking because China's not only been planning this for a while, they're planning it for a while into the future. How did 85% of America's pharmaceutical capacity get exported to our biggest enemy?
Here's what we know. Biomedical research has long been at the heart of something the Chinese have wanted and something they've engaged in economic espionage to get. It's at the heart of their Made in China 2025 plan, which means it's a big priority for theirs. We've charged a number of cases over the years, including one just earlier this year in Boston involving biomedical research, all of which involved the Chinese government, the intelligence services, and individuals in China. It would be crazy to think that right now the Chinese were not behind some of the cyber activity that we're seeing, targeting U.S. pharmaceutical companies and targeting research institutes around the country that are doing coronavirus research, treatments, and vaccines.
They reinvented the espionage game, the corporate espionage game, not just now, not just for coronavirus like he talked about. They've been doing this for decades. They'll hire people, get people hired on your firm in that new fancy product you have. One day it's weird. Wait a minute. That same product just appeared in China for half the price. How did that happen? You see, they have a way of doing things, that doesn't involve China taking any casualties. I had somebody tell me yesterday, well, Jesse, how soon till China lands on our shores? Why would China land on our shores? China's winning. We don't like to hear that. We don't like to acknowledge that. We're America, right? Land of the free, baby. Number one. We are number one now. China has no interest in being number one now and for the next week. China wants to be number one in the year 2050. Are they going to take a little economic shot in the arm in order to have us downfall? You bet they will. Every day of the week and twice on Sunday. China's living high on the hog right now. Hey, thanks so much for watching The First on YouTube. If you liked what you saw, go ahead and like and subscribe. You heard me. Like it, subscribe. You'll get a lot more of it and a lot more of me.